Hello, welcome to the Honest Heresy. I'm your host, Rob. I know I haven't made a video or put a video up on YouTube for a week or so. That's because I got 75% of the way through reviewing my first of the Libers. We were doing the Liber Mechanicum, but it did turn out I ended up getting anemia and an iron deficiency, which is very funny in heretical settings. So I know I haven't put a video out, but I am in the process of still making videos. I still make a plan to making a video for every Liber, every army. So hopefully as I get better, I'll start bringing my energy levels up and I'll start making more vids. So hope you haven't missed me. And if you have, let me know in the comments. That'd be nice. Or say you suck, whatever you prefer. Now, I'm here to talk about the news. Games Workshop is releasing some boxes. This is a nice, easy video. Oh, by the way, I have put already 2.5 hours into my my Mechanicum Liber review. And I think we're 60-70% there, so it's going to be a beefy review when it comes in. Anyway, so Games Workshop will put these out. Let's have a look through them, shall we? Begin your conquest of the Age of Darkness with new combat forces. New edition Heresy has been on the shelves for a month or so now. This is quite interesting, actually, because I've kind of also missed loads of news, and I feel bad about that, but when you're sick, so what can you do? Yeah, like I went and picked up the standalone Saturnine box the other day. Also, a couple of things while I've been sick, I've been building models. Saturnine Marine is like 50 pieces. What the hell? That's insane. That's very insane to build. It's been a lot. Anyway, so it's been out for a month. Let me know how it's been going in your local region. I know that my local gaming club are very, very excited. We have got a couple of games in. One of the days when I was really sick, my friends came over and hung out with me, and we did a couple of like Primarch challenge battles, which we did record on video, so I might try and edit them together this week as well, which is also very fun. So we did Primarch versus Primarch, and we went through the challenges. That was a really fun time, so that's cool. So it was fun. Anyway, so Legion started solo Auxilia and Mechanicum armies clash on the tabletops everywhere. If you're looking to join the action or to expand your existing collection, 3 new combat force boxes, which will be coming soon, are an ideal way to get going. Now, this is quite interesting because actually that initial Saturnine box, if you are one of the new players, is an interesting point because you're like, cool, I've got these. Where do I go from here? What do I pick up? What do I play with? And it feels like there's already like a very obvious place if you're playing with Marines. If you're playing with Marines, you need Marines because you need line. That is a ability or a rule that you get on Space Marines, specifically your tactical Marines and your despoilers, because they are going to get bonus points for holding objectives, which is one of the main ways that you win the game. So you need Marines. So you get the initial box, you get 40. And do you go and build more Marines? Is that the plan? Do you wait to get Assault Marines, which have Vanguard, which aren't out yet? So the first one, the Legion Astartes Combat Force. So Loyalist or Traitor, your Space Marine army is likely to be built around core of infantry supported by war engines and vehicles. And I think that's really true. I think like having played a few games now and seen a few games played, I think what I'm seeing is it's still very difficult to get rid of lots of Marines. Putting statuses on Marines, now, that's a different question, and you should definitely go back and watch my status video about that. But putting statuses on Marines feels like a good way of dealing with them versus killing them. And it's just what you'll find in the Legion Astartes Combat Force box. In this box, you'll find 20 Legionnaires in Mark 6 power armor. You can choose to equip all of these tactical Legionnaires with bolters or outfit them with missile launchers or heavy bolters to form a heavy support squad. That box includes 2 tactical Marine accessory sprues, giving you the parts for 2 sergeants, Vexillas, and Vox units to lead your squads into battle. Now, this is pretty legit in my opinion. Like, this is a great box to add on because the missile launchers and the heavy bolters are kind of like whatevers. You definitely need Marines. You need Marines probably just with basic bolters, or maybe in the future get some combat shields. And obviously you can't do those on tacticals, but you need Marines to hold objectives and do stuff. The heavy bolters are kind of like, I'm not sure they're really going to be super useful. The missile launchers, maybe they'll be more useful. I think they're okay, but you just need regular Marines. And this is a nice addition to add on to your army, but it's kind of interesting because they've already released the new Mark II box. So if you were starting fresh from Saturnine, then you're also picking up the Saturnine boxes. The Mark II boxes to add on and build yourself some disintegrator squads or whatever it might be. So like these being Mark 6, it makes this quite interesting. But the missile launchers look rad. I'm just throwing that out there. The missile launchers look rad. I think that's a great looking unit. Then you get a Leviathan in here, which is crazy. That's a great box, and you get a Rhino. And actually, shout out to them throwing a Rhino in there. Rhinos are boring, even if they are perfect. But having a Rhino, some dudes in a Rhino, running onto an objective or rushing onto an objective, and then waiting for your opponent to try to kill the Rhino, dumping all your guys out on the objective so you can avoid getting statused early, like pinned or something, is a great shout. But no one wants to really buy a Rhino. It's just a boring hobby buy. You go to the shop at the weekend and you're like, I'll get something cool. So like throwing in a Leviathan in there, it makes this really spicy. So this is a fun box. And also for getting people into the Heresy, also a pretty decent box. So they kind of want to avoid getting the Saturnine. You're like, fair enough. I'm going to get, like, you get a bunch of Marines in here. You get this absolutely overpowered stuff versus the Marines, and you get this. So you could kind of start off doing some small scale games. Will they be balanced? No. But is it like a good buy? Yes. And also the price point. SDS, which is the studio who make like Old World and they make everything, they are different, absolutely different from mainline studio. And as we point out all the time on the Old World show, they are they normally are pretty good price wise for the cost. There'll be like a reduction on if you buy these things separately. Absolutely. There'll be a reduction and it'll be much, much cheaper. And it's like a nice start off. So 20 Marines, a Rhino, and a dude. That's a pretty, and a Leviathan. That's a pretty great box, which I think you could get people pretty inspired to pick up. Like the Leviathan's like the honey trap, I think, like dragging them in. And then they have to get the vegetables, which is the Rhino. So I like this because I reckon like at your local club or in your local group, you could say, do you know what? Let's get this box and then let's see how the game plays. I think that's pretty cool. So like, I like that. Next up, we've got the Mechanicum Combat Force. Oh wait, hold on. You also get a Legions Astartes infantry transfer sheet with 293 decals, and also some transfer sheets as well with 44 decals. That's decent. I love that. That's really fun. Okay, that's great. You also get all the transfers. Honestly, this is great for the Heresy. And as I've said, or as I was saying earlier on, anything that gets people playing the Heresy, getting them into the Heresy, stopping them writing online and just being depressed and getting them out there playing the game. And lo and behold, as more and more people playing 3rd edition, they're all saying that they're really enjoying it. So all of that early bitching at the start of the edition is just like slowly melting away as people are like, actually, I'm having a great time and the game's pretty fun. So that's really nice. Right, the Mechanicum Combat Force, my guys. So what do you get? So you get 6 Thalax from the Heart of the Force. These cyber warriors, each a little more than a brain, are carried into battle on... Anyway, you get those. So you can... This kit includes option for chain bayonets, melter bombs, as well as plethora of cosmetic weapons. Now, these are good. Thalax are legit. Like a unit of 6 with melters, great. The phased plasma fusils or photon thrusters. The photon thrusters are also great as well. And you can equip every model in the unit with a gun. So you can have like 6 melters in a unit. I think you can have a unit up to unit size of 9. So you can have like 6 melters, 6 photon thrusters, and they all do different jobs. They deep strike, so they're a great unit. Like these and the Ursarax feel like definitely core units to pick in an army. So these are a great unit. So 6 of these is a good start if you wanted to play with this army. Just be aware that if you were going to build like a whole unit, you'll have to buy a couple of other boxes of these and then equip them with like... But what would be cool is if you bought like 2 more boxes, you'd end up with 6, 12, 18. You definitely could build 6 with multi-melters, 6 with photon thrusters, and then 6 with just like lightning guns. And then, you know, you don't have to... You can have like a unit of 8 and then the 2 lightning guns are your ablative wounds as a choice. So that's not bad. Then you got the Thalax. Thalax are an interesting choice as a unit. You get 2 of them in a box, which is great. Thalax are quite cool. They've got a weapon, the Mauler Bolter here, that has a status. I think it's only pinning 0, but it still does status to units, which is good. The Power Blades are pretty decent if you want to go fight Marines, although you've only got like 2 attacks per model. The Clamps are pretty decent if you want to go fight some vehicles. Not great, but they're okay as well. They're also a nice unit to bury your Magos or your Archmagos inside of, because they're pretty survivable. They can just hold objectives and just stand there just being big and a bit useless. So they're not really outputty, but they're more like, I'm just going to stand. Because if you've got a character inside the unit, then they have the line keyword or trait, sorry. So they're going to be able to hold objectives. So like, it's interesting. Right now, I haven't really decided what unit to put Magos or Archmagos is inside of. Thalax and Ursarax are too fast. So it might just have to be these big goons, to be honest. And then you get the Thanatar, which I've just built 2 of, which I'm very excited. I do have some of the resin ones, but I just built 2 of the others. Now, I built the other loadout to this, which is the big solar gun and the thunder hammer. It's not called that. Graviton hammer. But this is great. It's like an indirect shot. It's very cool. What's great about this box, just if you are a budding Mechanicum player, you can buy like 3 of this box, and you're not in a bad position. If this is also discounted, this is a great starting box. 3 may be a bit much because you maybe don't want to get 3 of the Thanatar. That's quite expensive. But actually, filling out your points in this roster can be a little challenging because you have like the Kragnos for the tank. Like, what you're going to take is interesting. So 3 of these is maybe legit as well. So you could buy this box 3 times. That's pretty cool. And you would have units that I say are all usable, which is nice. A bit added to, yeah. And also, that's another thing as well, actually. That's a really good point. One of the things you can do is, if you are a budding Heresy player, is guess what? You can buy both or all 3 boxes. Because of the ally system, you can always buy the Marines and have an allied detachment of the Mechanicum or an allied detachment of the Solar. And the other way around. You could have them AdMech and you could buy the other box as an allied detachment, which is pretty decent. So that's really cool. Lastly, we got the Solar Auxilia Combat Force, and this one's got me very frothy. So what you get for this? So you get the Solar Auxilia Combat Force, includes all the above in the form of a las rifle section, tactical command section, Hermes Sentinels, and a Lehman Russ strike tank. So you get 20 Solar Auxiliaries armed with las rifles. They can be outfitted in all manner of accessories, including bayonets, grenades, pouches, flasks, charge packs. And then tactical command section comprised of Auxilia captain and 4 Auxilia companions armed with las rifles. And those are quite important. You need basically a command section for pretty much every las rifle section. So this has also got 28 minis inside of it, which is pretty decent. And then you also get let's look through here. You get the Sentinels as well. So 20 las rifles, great. Now, again, if you were trying to collect a Solar Auxilia force and you take multiples, you absolutely can get multiples of this box. You need the las rifles, you just need them. You need the command squads because the command squads do different things. What's interesting is a las rifle command squad is different to like a heavy command squad, but it's basically the same model. So you can just use multiples of these. Yeah, you could easily buy 3 or 4 of this box and you would be outfitting an army. So then you've got the Scout Sentinels. Scout Sentinels are really fun because they have Line or Vanguard. I can't remember, one of the 2, but they're very different to the other Sentinel. But these are very funny to look at on the tabletop as well, and they're great kits. These are amazing. And then you got the Lehman Russ tank as well, which is kind of okay, depending on how you build it. Like, it's not terrible, it's not great to equip. I think more than anything, what's exciting about this is, again, the commitment from Specialist Design Studios. It feels like the Horus Heresy has got a more definitive plan as a game rollout. Having these smaller starter boxes, instead of saying to someone, listen, you got to spend 150 quid, saying to someone that I reckon these will end up around like the £80 mark in the UK, 80 to £90, and maybe even less than that. to be honest. They'll definitely be cheaper than the sum of their parts. And being able to say to someone, listen, how do I get into playing solo Auxilia? I'm like, dude, you literally can't go wrong by buying 3 of the solo Auxilia combat force. How do I get into AdMech? Well, you can definitely buy a couple of these. In fact, actually, the biggest problem that you have with AdMech right now is getting Majos and Battlesmith models for your troops, because they're all in resin and stuff. So actually, that's the thing I'd like to see over. But SDS committing to a much more structured, much more well thought out game plan is the reason I got into the Heresy. And I'm really excited that this is what we're seeing now. New Arcane Journal soon as well. This announcement, fresh on the heels, I think is good. I don't think this is a sign of the game doing badly or anything. These will have been planned over a year ago. And having an option at your local gaming store to play small points games, which probably will be the focus of some of the stuff that I'm going to make on the channel early on. There's already YouTube channels doing like 3,000 point battle reports or something, but I'd much prefer to see like 500. Well, 500 is probably too cheap, but like 1,000 to 1,500 point battles so people can learn how to play the game. I think that would be really good. And it's been really, really, really successful in the old world when I've done a 500 point format, which people have loved. And if you haven't been keeping track, I am building a bat rep room in the TSN arena. So hopefully bat reps at some point, which is why I've been building lots of models. So anyway, apologies for not being here for a little bit. But I've been here, I've just been sick. But I'm excited about this. I think this is a great sign for the Horus Heresy. And I'm excited about it. And it's great to be back making videos for this. Expect some big, long videos soon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.